Hi everybody, welcome to Gunpla TV.
Hey guys.
Brought to you by HobbyLink Japan. Episode 123.
123 it is.
It's a sequence.
2 more till
125. That's when we announce the winners of the caption contest, the Facepalm Gundam.
Some good stuff on there. Contest. Make sure you like it.
So you still have time to get your entry in, you know, think of a good one, think of a couple good ones. If you do not enter by 125, well then you deserve your own Facepalm. And on that light note,
yeah, I'll email it to you.
Yeah. Ryan, today I'm going to talk about Dog. You know, last time the Votoms we showed just the torso and the arms. Well, this time we're going to talk about the bottom half of the kit.
Do you think that's where Snoop Dogg got his name?
I'm sure that's exactly where Snoop
He was
Dogg
building
got
a
his
Scope
name.
Dog, and he's like, you know what? The cool name is Snoop Dogg.
And he was really high. Yes.
Now, what I will be doing is I have completed my PG.
Yeah.
I've put on the stickers and sprayed it. What I'm going to show today is actually the cage.
Yeah. Okay.
You can have a look at me fiddling with that.
Okay, good. Well, before we get into all that, we have 2 new kits to show here.
Sorry.
So Ryan, I understand that there's something new that you want to show?
Yes, Syd from 1982.
Oh, okay, that sounds fairly new.
Galaga.
I played the crap out of this game.
It brings back memories.
It's probably one of the reasons I'm severely undereducated and ended up working here. I don't know.
You're not severely undereducated.
I know.
Slightly under. But anyway, what I will do is we can pop this open. Do you think this might be an easy kit? You're in for a bit of a surprise.
Let's have a look.
So Syd, you had experience with this?
I've had lots of experience with Galaga, but no experience with the Brave model kit that you have right there before you.
Now, this I would say is not for amateurs.
So why do you have it?
Because I enjoyed the game, and the thing I particularly like is actually the decal sheets. They got like little 8-bit water slide
It's
decals.
kind of funny when you look at all the detail on this decal sheet, and then you try to remember that thing used in the game and all its 8-bit glory. Like,
yeah, you got all the little guys here as well.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy. So this is an awesome decal sheet. I got to actually check what the price is like on this guy. But you will have to spray him and paint him.
Yeah.
Here is the paint guide.
Yeah.
So it's not that straightforward.
No, it doesn't look like it uses a lot of color though, so you should be alright.
Should do a lot of masking though.
Yeah.
If you're into that. But yeah, this is Galaga.
Pew, pew, pew,
if you want to build it, now's the time. Here we go, Syd.
Alright, Galaga.
Good memories. Looks pretty complicated.
You know, that game was just a pattern. It was one of the first ones where I think I was young enough to recognize that it was a pattern, and I could just follow the pattern and score high scores all the time. Until it became too fast.
I think I think every kid started with this game, unless you were born later.
Much later, yeah. Much later.
But you might have the iPhone game. They had a DS release.
Yeah, they came back. It's coming back. That's why we're seeing model kits.
Actually, I played one on the DS. It was like dance music version where it was just like on crack.
Nice.
But show us what you got.
Yeah, well, I don't have anything that's like on crack, but I got some cool stuff here. I got the SD, the Hi Nu. We showed this at the Shizuoka Hobby Show. We're glad to see it. It looks really good. I'm actually going to pop it open really quick.
Yeah, let's have a look.
So what's inside the SD Hi Nu? Well, it's an SD, so of course we're not going to see anything too crazy. But you can see that they've got their foil stickers. Now you have your choice of giving them the character anime type eyes or the actual, Gundam type eyes. I kind of prefer the Gundam type eyes, but it is an SD, so yeah, go nuts with your little character. Standard SD runners for the poly capsules right here. These parts are fairly sizable, and you're getting all the fin funnel. Remember that? That's pretty cool. Here's the white. Look at that head. Classic Gundam head. One of the best Gundam heads ever.
Yes.
There he is. And you are getting some marking stickers on there for that, as well as
a base
clear stand, which is cool. So you can kind of pose him with those fin funnels. And you also get his bazooka and his rifle, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. For people who are big fans of the Hi Nu suit in general, the HG kit is one of the really good HG kits, and the MG kit is awesome as well. And also, along with the Hi Nu today, we have the newest MG.
Yes, and this guy looks very cool.
It does look very cool. There's a lot of cool stuff going on, like this here. You can see it takes an LED. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the LED.
Yes, you have to order that from the Bandai.
You have to order it from the Bandai store, but of course we sell the green ones. So there's It's not determined yet whether Bandai will release the regular red as a normal release, but I actually am interested in other stuff.
Okay.
Inside this box.
Let's
So I'm
pop it
going to open it up right now. So, looking at the Geara Doga, the Shizuoka Hobby Show, I thought it looked a lot like the Marasai, and we're seeing a lot of similarities in there. You're not going to notice it at first when you open the box. The first runner, of course, it's got all these different effect parts here. But I think mostly you'll see the similarities in the hands, as well as the Geara Doga has similar tubing around it, but with the Geara Doga, look, it's all flexible and stuff. Look at that. Wow.
Super flexible.
I like how it feels in my hands.
That's good, Syd.
That's good. Now here's some frames.
How do the hands feel in your
This
hands?
has some flexibility too, because it's that new kind of plastic that we saw first maybe introduced with the Marasai, I can't remember. And now that Geara Doga green. I'm flipping this over. Ryan, you said you like the shield. Look at that guy. That's an MG, but he's got some sizable parts to him.
He's going to be a good size, this guy.
He's going to be a big guy, actually. It'll be interesting to see how he compares in size. Here's some thrusters to some of the other Master Grade kits out there. So I'm hoping to stand him up to a couple of them and see how he does. If I can ever get all this stuff back in his box. Okay, Ryan, there it is.
Geara Doga.
Yeah, it's a kind of an all-new MG design. People are very happy about that. So,
Get your
actually, I'm gonna
LEDs
keep
from
it here.
us.
I'm taking this guy home.
Support HLJ. Buy your green LEDs from us.
Yeah, and anything else?
What's next?
Well, before I get into Scope Dog,
Yes.
do you want to take a moment to show your
Okay.
awesome PG and also maybe hint at what you're going to build next?
Yes, let me go into what I'm going to build next
Okay.
before I get into the PG. So, you guys are going to help me choose.
Once again, Ryan is going to solicit the opinion of the viewers out
Yes.
there. to
It's
determine what
called
he's gonna
Democracy and the Internet.
Sometimes it works. Democracy.
So, I've got three. I said I'm going to do Ma.K, and I'm still going to do Ma.K, but I have three Ma.K kits here.
Okay, what's this one?
I have the camel.
The camel.
The Maschinen Krieger camel.
Yeah, look,
Here.
there's his toe. And
Here I have the Nutcracker.
Nutcracker, another great name. Looks like a submarine when you look at that shot, right?
It's a flying submarine.
Okay, good.
And finally, we have the Folka.
The Polka.
Folka. Now, I want you guys to... Let's get these guys.
Choose one for him.
Choose the one you think I should build, and maybe I'll listen to you.
Yes, so you got the camel, the Nutcracker, and the
Nutcracker.
And yeah.
And the
What do you guys think?
Folka. Now, this will... Well, I'll pop up in one here. The kits are pretty straightforward.
It's the best part of this.
Not that many
Look
runners.
At the size of that.
I know, I love it.
That's awesome.
So I'm actually going to try a new technique on the show that I haven't done, which is spraying on the runner and see how that experience goes.
It's a good idea, because even the camel, if you look at the camel, like, look at the size of the stuff you're getting in here.
Yeah.
So if you do decide to spray on the runner, it won't be too difficult to take off the gates and clean those up.
So yeah, I'm going to try actually...
But hey, Ryan, don't spray this runner.
And I'm actually going to spray on the runner and also try to do the camo on the runner and see how that goes.
Okay, then.
Because, I mean, on some of those bigger pieces, you might be able to get away with it.
True.
Maybe a skull.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay,
something
well,
cool.
Okay.
So, on the group, on the Gunpla TV group, yeah, let me know which one you like. Give me a sec, I'll get set up with the PG.
Yeah.
What I'm going to assemble first here is actually the, what would you call it? The prison?
The hanger? The rack?
The hanger, the rack. My weapons rack.
There you go.
So let me just
rack on that gun.
Let me just quickly get started here. Hopefully this will be a seamless experience for the viewer. This took a little bit longer than anticipated actually building this. I mean, I've done most of the assembly already. But once you've done it, it's pretty straightforward. All these pieces just clip on. Just have to use a little bit of elbow grease. Okay, there we go. And then the side racks.
That's really tall.
Yeah, it's huge. You've got to make sure that these guys here are properly aligned so you can get your rack on there. Your rack-o-lamb. Let's get this guy in here. Make sure everything is nicely. Just a bit of pressure. Okay, and then I haven't got the little figures, but that's the little crane. You have a couple of small figures that's in there. So let me get Mr. Gundam in here.
All right.
And then we can have a look. Okay, so we have the rack. We have my Gundam, Mr. GP01. There's no specific thing there's no real guide to what you're meant to put in the rack. So I just assumed the shield, like the surfboard, would sit here. His one gun sits this side, the other gun sits the other side. If you look at the picture here, if you do also do the other version,
the full burner,
the full burner version, however they pronounce it, you have a hell of a lot more accessories to put in here, like the breast pieces and all that kind of stuff. So I can totally understand why you need this freaking awesome cage. Now, I've only done this version here, the Core Fighter version. If you want to do this version, all the pieces are there. I mean, you'll have the two versions of the plan. I mean, you build both. You transform the one you want and put it into the chest cavity. You also can do this crazy stuff with the legs and the backpacks. And maybe I'll actually do the back. Like, that's pretty sweet, those afterburners there. But, you know, I want to move on to the next kit. But if I do feel particularly passionate one day, I might actually do the other mode. But I know there's a few people on the blog actually building the same kit. You know, if you guys want to put up some photo of the burner mode, please do. But yeah, you get a lot of value for this kit.
There's a lot of plastic in that.
And I must say, this cage is like, whoa! So the cage is awesome.
Yeah, it did look cool. It did look cool.
There is one thing I have to say.
Yes?
That PG is meant to be free.
True, you can't cage a guy like that up. Look at him.
Yeah. You know, he's got to be out there playing the
game. Stretching his limbs.
Yeah. But what do you have for us?
I have the scope dog.
Okay, well, let's have a look at that.
Pales in comparison. Actually, the Votoms are actually really cool as I'm finding out when I built this. And, you know, we've done this. And now I want to talk about the leg. And it's going to take me a minute to get everything set up here because I'm going to actually go into the frame part of the leg. And then we'll talk about the skirt. And then we're going to slap everything together for the final effect here and actually try to kind of go through the gimmicks on camera. Okay? Sweet. So give me a sec here. So, yeah, looking over here next to me, you can see that I've pretty much got everything done on the Votoms, the Brutishdog. That's not quite true. There's some aspects that are missing from what you see here, but I'll talk about those in a little bit. But I'm talking about the legs today. Here's my leg, and you can see it's bendy all over the place. And it's actually meant to allow the kit to kind of transform shape. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I'm going to talk about how these things all go together. So this guy's going to have to go put over here. And I actually have the foot here. I got a half section of it. You can see it's got this big wheel, and it actually rotates on its own, no problem. Yeah, it's like those shoes you see in kids in Japan. For those who don't know, there's kids in Japan that you can get these shoes, and basically a little wheel is in the sole, and you'll see them just kind of through the shopping malls. Insane.
Moonwalking.
Insane, banging into people, young whippersnappers.
Those young kids out of control.
You can see this has also got the small wheel. It will rotate, and it also pivots. So, I'm going to try and get this guy, make sure I got everything back together here. And I will just plop them together.
So is the build pretty straightforward?
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it, actually. It was actually a pleasant surprise. I thought maybe I could run into some problems by having these movable wheels and whatnot. And one thing I can point out while I have this joint here is you can see that there's a split here, this opening.
Yeah.
So the plastic will actually give when you start popping things together. So you're not worrying too much about stuff breaking. But now it's just a matter of finish my foot putting on these parts here. So this piece goes on the bottom, seals everything inside, and actually accommodates the wheel there. And might have some gate marks on here preventing my smooth input. But there it is. And a couple other parts here on this runner. Now when you're building the leg, it's basically the entire D runner. All this contains everything you need to get your feet finished, including these parts here. And one thing I should point out is on these Scope Dog kits, it seems like every second nub or gate mark is undergated. I've actually got these undergates here. And I'm going to trim them off. And it's not just armor. Like if you look at Gundam models, when you're building armor, there will be some undergates on some very special kits, but the frame is generally untouched. However, here's some shots of a frame part, and you can see there are undergates even on some of the frame parts. So you have to be very careful because the manual will indicate that there's undergate parts, but you have to make sure you have them all clean here. So while I have this in my hand, I'm going to cut them off. And I was very surprised when I saw the gate marks on the frame. So let me drop this in here. Load that guy on. And then start sticking on my armor part here. 1, 2. And I should point out, well, I have this here. Building the leg, actually, the feet actually have their own gimmick. So here's this armor for the side of the feet. Look at this here, Ryan. I got a spike. A spike that comes to the bottom of my foot.
Oh, nice.
Now either, I think this is something, you know, if you could kick somebody, it's something come out of your foot. Or if I'm a giant machine that has to like lift off the ground, this spike can actually come down and actually kind of hold me there.
Oh,
like
okay.
when you see construction machines that have to lift themselves off the ground, they actually have these come out. But there's my foot for now. Looks good so far. And I've got most of the frame built for the leg here. So I'm gonna quickly slap on this armor. And as I mentioned, the undergates, there's undergates. So let me just get these all on here. And you can see there's little rivets molded in for detail. But don't forget that you have to add bolts of your own on a lot of parts. And no more are found than on the skirt. Like you think, oh, I gotta put these bolts in. And we talked about it last time when we were doing the arm.
Yep.
But the amount of bolts on the skirt, like wait till you see it. I'm gonna show it to you in a second here. It gets a little too crazy. Maybe this shouldn't have gone on yet. Go. Even these little flaps that are meant to cover up like the ankle, which you will never probably see the underside of, have undergates.
Any ideas why they did that?
Well, I think if you do want to paint it, you want at least these edges to be untouched.
Okay.
But it seems in some areas maybe they went a little overboard on the undergates.
Is it over-engineered?
Maybe. I mean, I'm kind of surprised that I'm seeing so many on this kit when I don't see very many at all in Gundam. But then again, Votoms are their own animal, right?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly put the majority of the ankle joint together here. Oop. So almost there, you can see it's got the majority of the frame. It's going to bend in all these places. So you bend here, 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 and here. And this will turn as well. Although once you get the armor on, that's less of a factor when it comes to your kit here. And speaking of armor, I have these big parts. And these are also undergated, but I've already taken those off. So you don't have to spend the time watching me take off undergates all day. Clip. And then add the frame. Checking for undergates. Oh, look, there's one right there. On the frame part. What a surprise. So I'm putting frame parts on top of my frame parts, which is kind of cool because if you want to paint, say, different shades of metallics, it will really bring out, it will highlight the different parts. And I'm going to last here, I'm going to get these monster armor parts for the bottom of the leg. Make sure to clean up all your undergates, kids and adults. It's funny because my first Gundam kit and my second Gundam kit and my third Gundam kit, like none of them had undergates. I didn't actually encounter an undergate until I was quite a fair journey into my Gunpla building life, and it was on a special kit. But this one's my first ever Votoms, and I'm already running into undergates and things like that. It's kind of surprising. Okay, I think I'm pretty much done with this actual leg here. So I can drop him right onto his foot. No problem. There we go. Does it look good to you? Yeah, looks good.
Looks good.
Good.
Looks like a leg.
Okay, now before I talk about the skirt, I want to talk about, you know, the bolts. We talked about these last week.
Yep.
And I showed how you take them off, put them in, where they're supposed to go. And there was only a couple parts on the arm that had them. Well, you can still see I have a lot to go. Look at the manual for the skirt. Right here. Every single flap has these bolts on it. So what you do, here's my skirt. I haven't done it because I want to show on the show. This is just one part of it. And where's that one runner here? Do I have it? This runner here. You can see all the holes here.
Yeah.
You're basically bolting all of these onto the kits, right? You're bolting all these panels on, so you can paint them different colors, then bolt them on, and it's
time consuming.
It is very time consuming, but I think it would be a really, really good effect. So now that I'm gonna leave those off because I don't want to have to take all those little bolts out if I choose to paint it, because I would probably start losing them. But while I have the skirt unattached here, you can see that it actually, you can see this little kind of glide in here. It's actually meant to change position.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
So I'll cover it back up here. And we'll go into the final steps of creating our Votom here. So, come on, feeties. I have never done this before. Let's see what happens. Okay, now I'm going to skip the side skirts because I don't think they're that important if you haven't bolted anything on yet. And I'm going to go right for the torso. Now you can see my torso. It's actually missing a panel here. I haven't done the side panels. Well, that's because, get out of this runner, they take bolts. Always take bolts. So I'm going boltless for my kit right now. So just slap these arms on here. They actually go on very, very well, and even though they slide on without much resistance, they tend to stay. You don't have to worry too much about them. So I like the big hand on the left side. It's kind of like a Zaku hand 2.0, but it's quite larger. Like this finger does move independently, and then these three fingers are their own animal, much like we are used to seeing on Master Grade kits. So it's not a big departure there. I'll drop the backpack on, and this ammo thing can also slide in the back here. If you choose to, you can drop it in there like that. So here he is. Looking good, Mr. Votoms. Looks good to me. Now this thing is meant to change shape, so to speak, here, right? So I'm actually going to try and play around with this guy and see if I can get him to move. So what it says for me to do is like start playing around with the back skirt here. Bend this way, and then this way, maybe. Open up the front skirt. There, so you can see that I've already slid down that part there. That's what I wanted. Ka-chink. A little bit stiff, but hopefully it's supposed to be. That one worked no problem. Why isn't this not working? Maybe I got an undergate in there.
Use more pressure.
Maybe I got an undergate in there.
Use more pressure.
That would be the only thing I could think of. But I'm not Oh no, I don't really want to go too far with it. Should something go crazy. We found the culprit. Ryan, like I said, we're talking about undergates on the frame. There was an undergate on the frame that was preventing me from moving the leg. So I actually had to disassemble the leg here, which is why we turned off the camera. And I snipped those off, put them back together, and now you can see he can do that full bloop. And he's dropped right down there on his feet. And here we go, coming at ya. Here comes my Votoms. He's like
an interesting mode.
It's like he's gonna run you over. I actually really like the eye because you can kind of just rotate him. Yep.
He's like, I'm looking at you.
Oh, what's that thing far away? Yeah, it's cool. I really like it here.
Yeah,
it's quite a departure from what I'm used to.
I'm a huge fan of just that kind of retro design.
Yeah,
so
especially if you dirty this guy up, it'll look great. So I don't know what experience our viewers out there have with Votoms. If you guys have built any of these, what did you think, and how do they compare with Gundam? And is there one Votoms kit which stands out above them all? Because this being the only one that I've ever built, I don't know what the lineup consists of. So let us know and leave a comment, and I'm looking forward to reading those. So what do you think of Votoms, Ryan?
I really like the design. You know, that retro design is very
The one
cool.
thing I think that I thought about when I was building the Votoms is just the look of the kit. It's, you know, very how we say grunt suit, like the Zaku's and the gyms, they always get their crap handed to them. The Votoms is one of those kits that I would like to dirty up and weather,
it looks
and it
like
would look
kit.
really fantastic. And there's a lot of master grade models out there that are just like too sleek. You don't want to dirty them up. Like you consider like maybe the Infinite Justice or the Asteroid Red Frame. Those sleek suits are like Ferrari. And you don't see anybody driving around a dirty Ferrari. No. But when you look at like the Votoms and some of those grunt type suits, like those are the ones that they get down and dirty, and weathering really works on those. So I might take that guy home.
Try do some weathering.
Beat him up a little bit.
Well, he looks like he needs to look like iron. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like dented, busted up iron.
Well,
but I think the plastic makes him look
all those little bolts that you stick in there.
Yeah.
That's pretty time consuming, but it does give that effect. So if you take the time to detail up the bolts and stuff, you know, you can put the little rust coming out from each little bolt hole. And
taking it to the next level.
That's right. Votoms, there's lots of possibility.
Actually, before we get into questions, I'll just say, thanks for everyone who's taking part in the community on HobbyLink TV. Awesome. A lot of stuff is going up there. You guys should really check back often. Yeah. A lot of people posting photos, a lot of incredible stuff. And thanks to, and there's a few key people on there, and thanks to you guys for helping as well. But let's get to questions.
Yes, maybe we can answer some of these on the show.
Huey Santiago. Is there a way to put in the Geara straight on the waist upside down? I think I saw Robert184 ask a samurai on proper sword placement. Okay, and going along with that? No, I'll read do you want me to read the
Yeah, read the other one, because I will explain what this is about.
There's a second comment from Yusep. Does look wrong with the blade edge down in the scabbard. Should it be up to keep it sharp, or does the holder not allow the scabbard from being put in correctly? Okay, they're talking about the sword I showed in last week's episode with the PG. People are... let's start with the basic one. For most people, a Japanese sword is a katana. They hear that term, it's a katana. So every Japanese sword is a katana. But that's actually not the case. Katana actually came after what is called tachi, which was almost the same style of blade, although maybe it was a little bit longer, had a little bit more of a curve, and was meant to be wielded one hand. So people were riding horses a lot of time, they would have the tachi. But the Geara is straight on the PG Red Asteroid. It is a tachi, and it does say in the instruction manual in Japanese, I went and looked for it, it says tachi, not katana. So tachi are worn on the side, blade down. One hand is easy to bring out this way, as opposed to the katana, where they would be tucked in your belt, the handle would be up a little bit, which you would be able to bring over top, so the blade was facing up. So some people are under the assumption that the blade on the Red Asteroid is a katana, but it's not, it's a tachi. So when it's placed on the Red Asteroid, like I showed in the show, it's actually facing the correct way for a tachi to be worn that way. Syd knows. Syd knows. I know my Nihonto. Japanese swords. So, next, Noble Guy 321. Dear Syd and Ryan, sorry if I spelled your names wrong. You actually spelled them perfectly right. Yeah. Mine is
usually wrong.
Yeah. But I was wondering which I should get, Mega Size Zaku, regular version, or Mega Size RX-78-2?
Well, I guess it depends what you like.
I say
more.
Zaku.
I also like the Zaku.
Zaku's cool.
But they both look really good.
Did I build the RX-78?
You built the H2
and the other one?
Normal.
What didn't I do the RX? Maybe.
Yes.
But yeah, the Zaku, if I was going to do a Mega Size, I would want to do the Zaku now.
I think they do look good. And with the version 3.0 Master Grade RX-782 coming out, maybe you want to get that instead of like a Mega Size RX-782.
Don't knock Mega Size.
We're not having this conversation.
Next, Purex
Ownage.
Ownage.
Two B's instead of a W.
Oh.
Ownage.
Damn. Leet speak.
I read that correctly right away.
Hey Syd and Ryan, I have every MG Xeon grunt suit, but I'm not quite sold on the Geara Doga.
Okay, why not?
My problem with it is actually relevant to the theme of this episode, the hands.
Uh-oh.
I'm very big on posable hands, and I'm disappointed that it won't feature them. Considering the recent Freddy suits have PG quality hands, do you think in the future they will release a new version of the Geara Doga, possibly a unicorn version, that has new posable hands from either the MG Sazabi or the Zaku 3.0?
It's not likely that they're going to release just a figure to correct hands, or a model to correct the hands, especially when this thing just came out. A lot of people do not like the posable hands because they're difficult to use, they tend to be very fragile, they can break quite easily, and instead of ordering, you know, one little part for a hand, you have to try and find a replacement for the whole hand, and they're not easy to fix in a lot of circumstances. I actually prefer maybe this kind of hands, just because I think they tend to grip the weapon and keep it there, and that's important for me. But some people prefer.
Talking about hands, now last week I had some difficulty with the hands. Don't worry, as frustrating as it was for some of you to watch me, it was frustrating for me to do it. I probably didn't follow the manual like I should have. But these hands are a little fiddly, I would say.
Oh, the PG hands? Yeah. They are. You have to be careful.
And it's funny because before I actually built a Gundam kit, a serious Gundam kit with posable hands, I was always like, why are these guys always going on about hands? Yeah. Now I fully understand. I have respect.
Well, when I was doing my first couple models, in my Zaku 2.0, maybe Master Grade, I was like building, oh, this is great. Oh, inner frame, this is awesome. Oh, this arm is totally cool. And then I had to start putting these tiny fingers in these tiny little openings. Oh, really? Is this how it goes? Yeah, especially when the MG Zaku 2.0 have the individual tiny joints for the latter part of the finger. Oh, if you lose a piece, I kept dropping them. Where is it? Is this the right one?
Actually, I lost the finger. I'm sad. I might have to order a new hand.
Don't worry, we're in Japan. We'll get you another one.
Next, the Irish Lizard.
Nice.
Hey guys, awesome show as usual. The amount of detail in the red frame sword is insane.
Yes, it is.
And I must say, Ryan, your GP01 is looking awesome. Thank you. But I have a question concerning wheel grades. I'm a total noob to Gunpla, and I've only built a few Gundam O's HGs. However, I really want to put together an RG kit. So my question is, out of all the wheel grades, which one is the easiest to build? Can't wait for the next show. What's the easiest to build?
Oh my.
Don't do the one that transforms.
The Zeta is probably the most difficult one.
Don't do that one.
Every kit, RG kit, has this one aspect of it which makes it, how you say, uneasy to build. Like for example, the first one, the RX-782, there's some little parts on the shoulder that tended to pop off, and the leg frame, which you had to be really careful when you moved, but once you got past that, it was okay. And then the real grade Zaku has all those really tiny circles for the armor collars all around it, and you have to try to pop those on these tiny little posts. And that would be the difficult part of that build. The Ale Strike is actually not a difficult build. The Ale Strike is all right, and I think the Mark II, the Titans and the AUG, are actually pretty good as well, except for having to use that mesh tubing around that tiny reed. Those can be a little difficult, but outside of that, they're not too bad either.
If there's something I've learned about plastic, is follow the manual. Yeah. No matter if you're a noob or not, just follow the manual. I find most of my mistakes is just rushing. Yeah, that's just it. Just take your time. You'll be fine.
Also, like he's asking which one is easiest to build. That's a good question, but I would say, like I always say, find a suit that you're interested in and build that first anyway, even if it might be a little more difficult. Because if you build an easy one, but you're not really fond of the suit, well, maybe you think, yeah, you know, you're not really interested in it. You're not invested in it. You might not be likely to continue on. But start with something you really like, and then just appreciate it for what it is.
Choose your favorite suit, and then follow the manual. Next, Tingjo. Hey, Syd Ryan. Like the PGs, I'm planning to build one. Is there any new PGs that Bandai has in mind? I like the red Astray, just built an MG one, and just wondering if you could give me suggestions on how to paint it matte finish. Is there a tutorial on how to do it?
Well,
we haven't done a tutorial.
Any new PGs? Probably not. We haven't heard anything. It's already July. I imagine come end of August, September, we'll start getting hints at what's going to be at the Tokyo Hobby Show. And that will indicate if we're going to see a PG this year, and I don't think we will. And when it comes to painting a matte finish, some spray cans, which we tend to use, those are the easy ones, they will have matte colors. You can get a matte red, you can get a matte black, but you can always just use a flat coat. If you use a flat coat, you create your own matte. Yeah. So whatever color you're going to put on there, you can put the flat coat on top, and you'll have
what I put on this guy.
A matte look to it.
You get a flat matte, Next, William Berrien. Is that right? Hey Syd. Hey Ryan. I have a nickname, Rye.
Hey,
you guys have probably have answered this, but I will ask anyway, because that's how I roll. If you could see a kit in PG, which would it be? I would like to see either the Heavy Arms Custom or the G-Bouncer. What do you guys think? The Kshatriya, is that a PG?
No, of course not. Although it's almost big enough to be PG.
That would be freaking awesome. Like that kit, can you imagine why is
it that I'm gonna stereotype and generalize right now. Why is it that those guys who haven't got much experience with model kits think Kshatriya and PG would be awesome?
Because it looks freaking awesome.
Bigger is better.
Syd is being a douche today.
You know, I totally go the opposite way.
What would you get?
I would like to see, as a perfect grade, the Victory Gundam.
Really?
It's very small as an MG and difficult to work with, yet really complex and transforms. And as well as the V-Dash, which I think would work. I think if they were to blow that up and make it as detailed as a perfect grade, they would be able to iron out some issues when it comes to the transformation, as well as having the V-Dash parts as an add-on as well. And that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, but isn't that what RG is for?
I would like the Victory Gundam.
Then that's almost like an RG.
Yeah, but if you scale that MG,
has to be special.
If you scaled that MG, it's one of the smallest MGs ever, and scale it down to an RG, you'd be working with something like this big. That's why I say take the Victory Gundam, make a PG out of it. I would be happy.
I stand by the Kshatriya, 100%.
Yeah, sure you do. And are you willing to pay $600 for that kit? Because that's how much it would cost.
You don't have that information.
Okay. I could be $700.
I would build it. If it came around, I would build it. We haven't seen pricing. If it's the same price as a usual PG, which is like $200, $250, sure. That's what people pay.
Yeah, but if we're talking scale, which is what PG is 160, right? One 1/44th Kshatriya stands this tall.
That's going to be epic.
One 100th Kshatriya would probably be this tall.
That would be epic.
160 is you're looking at this size.
Okay, here's a question. You guys tell us. What do you want? The Kshatriya or the, what was
it? The Victory Gundam. Make it happen.
Go Ryan. Go Ryan.
I promise. If you vote for me, I will contact Bandai. And I'll tell you to go away.
Okay, that's all the questions I have for today.
Good.
What are our plans for next week?
RG, baby. That guy right there.
Oh, yes, the RG version.
The RG GP01 should be here this time, 7 days from now. We're actually going to go side-by-side comparison. And just so everybody can see, you know, is there any parts that are similar to both, or what's different in each kit, and is there going to be some parts in one kit that are not used but are meant for this other kit, etc., etc. Lots of questions there. And then the following week, after we get them done, we're going to bring them back on the show and just have a little talk about the show.
And I'd like to say something final about the PG.
Yes.
I recommend to anyone who hasn't done the PG to do it.
Yeah.
Doing this PG makes me want to do more PG. I think it's going to be hard for me to build other kits. That's why I'm aiming for the Ma.K. Like I feel like it's something different. But yeah, if you're sitting on the fence, do it.
I think anybody who's serious about Gunpla modeling owes it to themselves to do a PG. However, I do understand that costs, particularly shipping,
murderous,
can be difficult to overcome. But
do we have PGs on sale?
Oh yeah, we quite often will put them on sale, but the sale doesn't extend to the shipping price, unfortunately. No. Mostly. But if you have an opportunity to pick one up, do it and give it a try.
It's a I mean, it's like the Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's like just the way it fits together. Even though this is what, a 15-year-old kid?
Not that one.
10 or something. Like it still is. It's the technology is phenomenal, and I can just imagine a new PG.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, looking at Jaws was freaking.
Yeah, and that's not the Red Asterisk, not the newest one. You had the O Riser and the Strike Freedom after that too. And
so seriously, like out of everything I've built, it was. And probably not the most complex. I think that big Macross I built was more difficult. But the way you assembled it, and the way it assembled, and what you can do with it, especially this GP01, the 2 modes.
Yeah.
Crazy. So you owe it to yourself. Do it. If you can. Give it a try. Do it.
But if you like spend money that you need for like your insulin on a GP01,
good on you.
Blame this guy for ruining your life.
Yeah. Well, keep me in a job. Okay,
all
well,
right, let's end it there.
Yeah.
Okay. See you guys later.
See ya.